How we doing, fellas? So, I got 3 draft decks this week. People like, 3? Yes, 3. Someone decided to have an extra draft on Thursday, organized a fun, happy little draft event on Thursday, all well and good, casual style. Unfortunately, we had to break ourselves up into like 2 pods. At least one of them was undersized a bit, not too badly though. And what it was is like one pod was just drafting Avacyn Restored, and the other pod we were drafting Innistrad and Dark Ascension. Go fig, right? Go fig. But it ended up okay. I mean, the reason why someone decided to try and get the a Thursday draft up and going and organized and whatnot is because he was trying to put more money into the shop's coffers because, well, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but the owner of the business announced that they were closing at the end of this month because he just can't make an adequate go of it anymore, you know? And that sucks. I also say that the game store going out of business is kind of like a cross between Christmas and a funeral. I mean, it's like, yeah, you're sad the game shop's closing, but going out of business sale, woohoo, let's get loads of crap and get it cheap. My phone just went ping. Probably got an email. I'll look at it when I'm done shooting the video. Well, I'll look at it whenever. Anyways, of course, now he's entered into talks with someone like, is talking about trying to take over the shop from him and whatnot. So, he's extended his closing date to the end of July. We'll see how things work out. Honestly, I've been hoping to, like, get a work hookup, and so I can I'll be moving to, like, Georgia for that, which, it's the South. Not particularly keen on the idea of where I'll be, but it's a line of work I enjoy doing. So hopefully get into that. But anyways, draft deck. Let's get into draft deck. Put that aside. So Thursday's draft. This isn't all I've got, but what I've got here is I ended up with a white-red build. I got a Brimstone Volley, a Harvest Pyre, a Blood Feud. So I've got some. I've got some red removal here. The Harvest Pyre is serviceable. Brimstone Volley's nice. Blood Feud, the big problem with it is that it's a 6-drop, though it can conceivably take out 2 creatures. In white, I had a pair of Rebukes, a Burden of Guilt, and a Ghostly Possession. Ghostly Possession not quite as good as the others because it just stops the creature from doing combat damage, and gives it flying. So if something's got like a high toughness, but it's also got, say, high power as well, it's really dangerous, you throw a Ghostly Possession on it, you've just shut down you've just turned it, how can I, English. I'll speak English. You stop it from being an offensive factor on their side of the board, but unfortunately, there's still the whole problem of, oh, yeah, you have to swing through it. You're not getting through it. So, yeah, there's that. I had 3 Feral Ridge Wolves and an Inquisitor's Flail. The Flail actually combos nicely with the Feral Ridge Wolves, but unfortunately, the only time it came up, I was in no position to go on the offense. Rebukes, I think I mentioned that already. Traveler's Amulet, nice little mana fixer. An Urgent Exorcism, mostly in there as a filler card, but it's destroy target spirit or enchantment, so a Spirit Tribe is very well represented in these sets, so that's not so bad. Geist-Kitcher's Rig was put in here mostly as a filler card. It's alright. Village Bellringer. It's okay, it's serviceable. Cloistered Youth is in here mostly because she transforms into a 3/3. I've talked about her many times in the past. She's a 1/1. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may choose to transform her. I'm going to put this camera down so I can pull her out of the sleeve without fumbling the hell out of her again, and again, and again. Here we go. And here we have her transformed as Unholy Fiend, where her creature type is Horror. She's a 3/3 with at the end of your turn you'll lose a life. There's no way to transform her back, shy of flashing her out of play, moving her to hand, whatever. Without making her change zones, there's pretty much no way to transform her. Well, no way to transform her back, whatever, right? But yeah, you know what? She swings. And she's a 3/3. Can't complain, you know. Having a 3/3 online and swinging by turn 3, that's not bad. Nihilus of the Mist, it's a 2/1 flyer, hits the board, tap target creature. It's alright, it's okay. It flies. Russet Wolves, it's a 3/3, it's a filler. It's not bad, it's Hill Giant. It's Hill Giant with a different creature type. Whoop-de-doo. Skursdag Cultist, she's alright. She's a 2/2 for 2 and double red, which is kind of assy, really. But, you know, you pump red, tap her, sacrifice a creature for 2 points of direct damage. That can be nice. What you're not seeing in here is I also had a Cruin Outlaw, the 2/2 first striker, werewolf, that transforms into a 3/3 double striker. Yeah, that's nice. Dearly Departed, it's a 5/5 flyer that, as long as it's in the graveyard, humans you control enter the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter. Fortunately, I didn't really have much annoying humans in the deck. The Cultist, the Bell Ringer, the Unholy Fiend, when it first hits the board as a human. And I also had a Increasing Devotion in there. The card that gives you 5 1/1 human tokens, or if you paid the flashback cost to cast it, it gives you 10. Yeah. So that had possibilities. I think I went with 18 land with this deck. I want to say, because you know, I've double checked my count, and I'm shy a card from making it a 17 land deck. So I guess that's what I did. I guess I don't remember clearly. I don't know. I also had a Ravenous Demon in sideboard. I picked him back up out of the prize pool. I got an Evil Twin out of the prize pool. Well, whoop-de-doo. Sideboard. The only green sideboard card was a Spidery Grasp. I think I picked that up late as a hate draft because I tend to play a lot of flyers. Burning Vengeance, that just got handed to me. Apparently no one was drafting flashback heavy. Vampiric Fury, that was like just something I got stuck with. 2 Bar the Doors, whoop-de-flippin'-dee. At first I was leaning towards going in black, but I think I had more and better removal in red. I'm not certain now, though. But I had Disciple of Gristlebrand, a Skursdag Flare. So at that point I'm thinking, maybe. Then there was the Morkut Banshee, and a Black Cat, and a Falconwrath Noble, and a Diagraph Ghoul, and a Typhoid Rats. You know, I think maybe the reason why I decided not to go with black is because I didn't think I had enough humans to work with the Ravenous Demon. I don't know. Oh, blue on the sideboard. I had a Makeshift Mauler, whoop-de-doo, Hysterical Blindness, whoop-de-doo. Artful Dodge is not a bad card, but whoop-de-doo. Towergeist, Shriekgeist, all well and good. Oh, hey, I also had an Undying Evil in black as well. That got stuck in here. Oh, and then there was my Keeper Rare. Yeah, Snapcaster. Doesn't matter that I did, you know, unexceptional in the draft in any way. I didn't do exceptionally well or exceptionally bad in that draft, really. But simply by picking up a Snapcaster in it, I effectively won the draft. You know what I'm saying, guys? It's like, dude, it's a Snapcaster. They're still expensive. For good cause, you know? I mean, they do funk. Ooh, that made a lovely noise. They do funk. Which one of these is which? Okay. Alright, get this up, put this down. Okay, so first draft on Friday night, I ran this crazy monstrosity, which should have done better than it did, really. But oh well, right? I had two. I picked up 2 rares in this draft. One got kicked back in the prize pool. It was a Desolate Lighthouse. I didn't run it. I picked it up because, you know, pack 1, my first pick was Tybalt. I've heard some people say he's not good in draft. He didn't come up very often. The only time he did really come up, all that he really managed to do was he soaked up 5 damage for me. Because people decided, yeah, I'm going to swing at him. Honestly, though, if you look at what Tybalt does, he's double red to cast. He comes in with 2 loyalty counters. You add 1, and you draw a card, and then discard a card at random. You pull 4 counters off of him. He deals damage to target player equal to the number of cards in their hand. Which basically it's Sudden Impact or Stormseeker, depending upon, you know, how old school you want to go with it. It was Sudden Impact in, I believe it was Tempest Sudden Impact was originally printed in. First time I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, it's a red Stormseeker. Stormseeker was originally a green card that did the exact same thing. Go fig. Honestly, direct damage is in red, but, you know, punishing having cards in hand just sounds like a really, really green mechanic. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, green thematically being about instinct instead of knowledge. I don't know. I don't know. But, oh, then his ultimate is you pull 6 counters off him, you gain control of all creatures, untap them until end of turn, untap them. Oh, and they, of course, yeah. Gain control of all creatures until end of turn, untap them, they gain haste. There we go. A lot of people say, oh, you know, Tybalt's not good, blah, 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 blah. I mean, there's better things you can do on turn 2, yada, yada, so forth, whatnot. And they're right, there are better things you can do on turn 2. There are a lot of better things you can do on turn 2, in any constructed format. And I made the observation, you know what? His mana cost is a trick. He's designed to fool you. You never play him on turn 2. Never! That's stupid. The idea he's costed low because basically because that's what his power level and the number of loyalty counters he comes in with dictates, you know. I mean, if he came in with more loyalty counters and they kicked up his abilities a little bit, yeah, I could understand, you know, him being higher costed. But as it is right now, that it is like, yeah, he's only a 2-drop, and you know, you're like in red, you usually have much better to do in the 2-drop. That's why you play him late. Whoop-de-doo, guys. Just because he costs 2 doesn't mean that's when you're supposed to be playing him. You know? But once again, of course, as I was saying, though, it's just like he only came up for me once. There was one game where my opponent had like some annoying artifacts that I boarded him out for a Devout Chaplain. Because the Devout Chaplain was going to do me more good. A lot more. So let's get on with the rest of the deck, shall we? 3 Seraph of Dawn. 3 of them. I could have had a 4th. I don't know what was going on, but I got 3 of them, and that scared people. That scared people. An Emancipation Angel, always nice. The Seraph Sanctuary, I had to throw that in since I had it, you know. 2 Moonlight Geists, a Near Heath Pilgrim, and a Cathedral Sanctifier. So between the lifelink 2/4 flyers, and you know the Cathedral Pilgrim that soul bonds for lifelink, and the dude when it hits the board you gain 3 life, and oh yeah, the Sanctuary hits the board you gain 1 life. An Angel hits the board under your control, you gain 1 life. Yeah, I mean between all that, this deck had the potential to gain a lot of life. Filler cards in white, I had a Moreland Inquisitor, he's solid. Holy Justicar is a nice little tapper, at least in this environment. I wouldn't run more than 2 of them, I think, but that's my opinion. Only got 1 anyway, so not that matter. Raven Valiant, I'm not wild about because it's 2/1 Vigilance. I mean, with Vigilance you're expecting a higher toughness than, or at least an equal toughness to power, you know? So it's kind of weird. I don't know. Zealous Strike, target creature gains +2/+2 first strike till end of turn. It's not a bad filler card. Sadly, it never came up, or at least not when I needed it. Red, I had a Thunderbolt and a Pillar of Flame, or removal cards, all well and good. Pardon me. Tormentor's Trident, nice little piece of equipment. The power boost works awesome with anything with lifelink or flying. 2 Mad Prophets, they're nice. You know, they let you like blaze through the deck pretty fast. It's like, yeah, it's like I've got 4 or 5 land on the board. The deck tops out at 4 mana. So it's just like, okay, whatever. I've got lands in my hand I don't need. Tap Mad Prophet, pitch a land, draw a card. Kid science, fun stuff. 2 Heirs of Stromkirk, they're nice. They're really nice. Haven Gull Vampire, he's also funky. Somberwald Vigilante, nyeh, he's filler. Fervent Cathar, he's a 2/1 haste. When he hits the board, target creature can't block this turn. I'll be perfectly blunt, he actually came in more useful than I thought he would. Because he was able to, like, you know, clear away a blocker for me once or twice and let me swing in for fun damage, you know? Like I said, sideboard I had a Devout Chaplain that I boarded in once. Wasn't too handy. Pair of Scrolls of Avacyn. I just didn't really have space for them, despite the fact that I was running plenty of Angels, you know? What else I had? Dangerous Wager, Rush of Blood, just didn't make the cut. Thatcher Revolt, I really wanted to run with the Haven Gull Vampire because when the tokens die, they trigger the vampire 3 times. 3! But I just didn't think they were going to... I thought the other cards were better choices overall. Uncanny Speed, didn't make the cut. Raging Poltergeist, that's a card that's rarely going to make the cut. Only 1 Demolish, who cares, it's only 1. Oops. Fettergeist, Shieldmate, Haven Gull Scab, a Necrobite, a Hunted Ghoul, an Undead Executioner, whoops, Mental Agony, Soul Cage Fiend. This deck, like I said, it should have done better than it did. My most memorable game with it was in round 1. I'm going against Rich. And I've mentioned Rich before. Rich is a good player, knows what he's doing. He's a good drafter. The only complaint I can really make about it is sometimes he's probably more thorough than he needs to be. So when you've got a complex board situation, he will take long turns. Longer than I honestly think is necessary. But yeah, you know, maybe that's just me being impatient, you know? Because I'm not trying to trash talk the man. Because like I've said, you know, all respect in the world for him as a player of the game. And he beat me and took three games for him to take me down. But he was intimidated by how much life gain I had, especially on 2/4 flyers. Yeah. He ended up with a bunch of Heirs of Stromkirk himself, and what ended up happening is in the end he was able, even though I was playing red as well, he was able to outrun me with his Heirs of Stromkirk. I could not take him down fast enough. I'm trying to remember. I think he was running like red and can't remember if he was going red black or red green. I don't think he was going red blue. But anyway, yeah, there's that. It was a fun deck to play. It really was. Prize pool ended up snapping up a Herald of War, all well and good, and a Tyrant of Discord. I've seen Tyrant of Discord in a draft game once basically wipe my board. It wasn't cool. It seriously wasn't cool. I look at it and I really want to put it in my new mod, the Devastator EDH deck. Because that deck has, like, you know, a couple of Armageddon effects, that is destroy all lands. And if you can nuke all the lands and then drop the Tyrant of Discord, there is a good and real chance that you're gonna wipe somebody's board clean. Just wipe it clean. And that's always fun when you can do that. Alright, try and get deck number 3 up. This deck is really kind of weird in some ways. I had some interesting games with this deck, I will also say. Let me see what else do I got here. Okay. So with this deck, I started off. What you're not seeing in this deck is, if I recall correctly, yep. My first pick while drafting this deck was a Herald of War. There's the one I got out of the prize pool in the first draft. It's 3 colors, double white for a 3/3 flyer. Whenever it attacks, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. Human and angel spells you cast cost 1 color less for each +1/+1 counter on the Herald of War. All well and good. So I had the Herald of War, 2 Gold Knight Redeemers, an Emancipation Angel, 2 Moonlight Geists. Had Seraph Sanctuary in there because, hey, you know, I'm main decking like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Angels. Yeah, pack 3 I opened up Bruna, Light of Alabaster, or some of us like to call her Bubbles. I'll get to that in a moment. I wasn't solidly in blue yet. I don't think I was solid in any secondary color yet at that point, really. Anyways, also in white I have Defang, 2 Righteous Blows, Ablated Bracers, Angelic Armaments, 2 Vessels of Endless Stress, Paint, Mana Fixing and Accelerate, Firebog Explorer. Blue I end up settling in with a pair of Fettergeists, a Mistraven, a Gryff Vanguard, a Master Components, an Elgod Shieldmate, Spectral Prison. Weird things happen with this deck. First round, I go up against Brain. His real first name is Brian. We just call him Brain. And he's a good player. He usually knows what he's doing. And he's got this crazy mono black build that relies on homicidal seclusions and Predator's Gambits, buffing up creatures, and he tries to keep a very low number of creatures on there. We went 3 games. He eventually took me down with the Skeletal Bats, or whatever the heck they're called. They're a 4/1 flyer that regenerates for a payment of 4 life. What was really, really bad about that is once he got 2 homicidal seclusions on the board, which turned it into a 10/3 flying lifelink, I had no way to stop that, really. Pretty much none. I mean, once he got the second seclusion on the board, I couldn't even Righteous Blow the damn thing. It's like, and if I throw a creature in front of it, he's still gaining the life, and even with just 1 homicidal seclusion out, that thing becomes a 7/2 flying regenerating lifelink. I mean, yeah, he regenerates for 4 life. What they do, he gains 7 out of it. He's still coming out on top. So that was really intimidating. But between the Seraph Sanctuary and the Gold Knight Redeemers, in conjunction with the Emancipation Angel and the Herald of War and the Bruna, what happened is both of our life totals in all three games ended up fluctuating wildly up and down. We just had some epic games. We're just sitting there, just beating the crap out of each other and gaining life. It was just really, really bizarre. And then but he took me down. We gave each other a good fight. He came out the better deck. I think he deserved that. Kudos to you, Brain. And then round 2, I ended up playing against Brown Ben Plum. I've mentioned him a couple of times. Ben is his real name. Referring to him as Brown Ben Plum is a reference to the Song of Ice and Fire series of books by George R.R. Martin. You might know it better as the Game of Thrones TV series on HBO, which I haven't actually seen. I've read the books. I've never seen the series. But oh well. Oh well. Hey, maybe there being a TV series now might encourage Mr. Martin to release the books at a somewhat less glacial pace. I wouldn't wager on it, though. He's probably going to sit on the next book until he absolutely positively has to release it. Because, oh look, 5 years later, 5 years later, hey, guess what happens? We've run out of episodes. We've run out of material in the books. Oh my kid, it's going to take longer than 5 seasons for that. But whatever. Anyways, round 2, I go against Brown Ben Plum. Now, I helped him cut his deck a little bit. Originally, he was going like monocolor. Not monocolor. He was going, I want to say blue-green. I think it was blue-green. But anyway, he was going that color combination, and he had 2 Pillars of Flame, and that he had hate drafted. And I actually, because of he had so much mana fixing available in green, like 3 mana fixing cards, I want to say, I told him just splash in 3 mountains and the 2 Pillars of Flame because they're good. And he ended up doing that. I don't remember how well he did overall, but round 2, he ended up playing against me. And one of the interesting things, he was originally main decking Bower Passage in his deck, and I told him, that's a sideboard card, don't put that in there. Because Bower Passage is only useful if you have a bunch of flyers yourself. It says that creatures with flying can't block creatures you control. All well and good. But I told him, it's just like, what you want to do with that is you want to sideboard it in against someone with a deck like mine, for example, where the guy has a bunch of flyers. Because if you look at my deck, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, plus the Angel. I had 11, the Herald of War. I had 11 flyers, and 1, 2, 3 creatures that don't fly. And what happens is of course, the way sideboarding rules tend to work in Limited is that you can actually change your deck between rounds. All well and good. He ended up boarding in the Bower Passage after he found out he was going to be playing me in round 2. Not 100% certain if that's kosher or not, but whatever. It didn't even come up in Game 1. Game 1, I played flyers and ruffle stomped him. Because that's what this deck does. It ruffle stomps. Oh, ruffle, 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 ruffle. And then I had problems. Game 2, he played Bower Passage and outraced me with damage. And that was the long and short of it. It was not. It wasn't pretty. Because without the Bower Passage, he wouldn't have been swinging at me, and I wouldn't have been swinging at him, and we would have had a creature stalemate for several turns. And Bower Passage stopped that from happening, and he just like slammed me good. Game 3 against Ben, I just couldn't draw a damn thing I needed to draw on. Well, actually, that's not true. Game 3, the Bower Passage didn't come up. I was worried about it, very worried about it. And what ended up happening is he had taken me down a few notches. I'd taken him down a few notches. we're in a position where I'm looking at his board position, he's looking at mine, and yes, he was playing blue-green now that I remember this. What happened was, it's like I'm looking at his board position, he's looking at mine, and I'm like, okay, I got enough creatures in the air that he can't block that I can swing over and end the game on my next turn. And I'm looking at his board position, okay, we're good. I pass turn to him. What I didn't know is he had the, I can't remember what it's called, the blue card that makes 2 creatures you control unblockable until end of turn. So he made his... As I was saying, yeah. Well, hopefully that ended where I thought it ended. I think it did. So anyways, yeah, he swung at me with unblockable creatures that I couldn't do anything about, and yeah, that was a big mess. I don't even remember who I played or how I did in round 3. I really don't. But yeah, that was a glorious mess. Oh, Bruna Light of Alabaster. Why she's referred to as Bubbles sometimes. That is a reference to the Powerpuff Girls, where there were basically 3 superpowered grade school girls who were named Bubbles, Buttercup, and Blossom. And some people draw the association between that and the 3 legendary 2-color angels in Avacyn Restored, where Bruna is Bubbles, named after the blue Powerpuff Girl. Sigurda, the green one, if I recall the name correctly, the green-white one, is nicknamed Buttercup after the Powerpuff Girl that's always in green. And Gisela is named after is referred to as Blossom, the Powerpuff Girl who's always in like a pink outfit. So there you go, fellas. Kind of sort of makes sense. Creepy kind of sense. Like the Phantoms being what they were in Final Fantasy, The Spirit Within, which wasn't actually a bad movie. It really wasn't. Unfortunately, a lot of people complained about how the plot was difficult to follow, and I'm like, how is that a difficult to follow plot? Oh wait, it's because, you know, American movie audiences in general. I probably shouldn't pick on my own country like that, because especially when I know that all people are generally stupid. But basically what it came down to is people with no patience and, you know, no attention spans and no ability to actually follow the movie. So there's that, you know, there's that. Oh, prize pool out of this. I picked up a Lunar Mystic, Whoop-de-Doo, and a Hound of Gristlebrand, which is a cute little card. And sideboard from that deck, a bunch of stuff that didn't make the cut. Tormentor's Trident just didn't make the cut. Natural End, I wanted to sideboard that against Ben for the Bower Passage, but I decided not to. I didn't need it game 3. Wouldn't have helped me anyway. A Leap of Faith and a Cathedral Sanctifier just didn't make the cut. Red, I was seriously thinking about running red for a while, but it just didn't happen, you know. I had a Scalding Devil, a Rush of Blood, Malicious Intent, Fervent Cathar, Gang of Devils, Lightning Mauler, Riot Ringleader. That should not sound like a tongue twister. Riot Ringleader. Yeah. Come to Tasmania. We mean you. I also had a fair amount of black hanging around. Part of it was because I realized like people near me were playing black, so I ended up like hating a few black cards, like a Barter in Blood, a couple Necrobites, a Soul Cage Fiend, Driver of the Dead isn't really a hate draft, whatever. Polluted Dead, Triumph of Cruelty. Yes, it's the Triumph of Cruel Trees. I don't know. I got nothing. I don't know what I'm talking about at this point anymore. I don't know. So, yeah, this video is going to need to be spliced together, and that's going to take me some time. And then I got to upload it to YouTube. Yay, uploads! I think I got a whole damn. Bugga. Alrighty. Call this done. Take care, fellas. Be good. Be safe. Happy gaming, etc., etc. Laters.